Hello, and welcome to another Alovéa Pros podcast. And this one is really exciting because this is something we've been hanging out for like a couple months trying to get this set up. And today it's finally happening. Robin, we get to hang out, and this is your first ever podcast, correct?
Yes, never done one before.
Well, you're already off to a great start. There you go. It's going to be a lot of fun with you today. And where are you dialing in from, by the way?
I'm in Punta Gorda, Florida.
Ooh, you're feeling a little bit of warmth down there, would be my guess right now.
Goodness, it's so hot.
Very nice. Well, we appreciate you taking some time and being here as a pro because your story is really fascinating because you have had this very rich career as a nurse, right? 30 years. So let's start there. What was it about the world of getting into nursing and what was that like for you and as a huge part of your career?
I just loved helping people. I love
Mm,
that whole part. I started out in high school as a nursing assistant, then went right into college for nursing. And it was always a huge part of what I did to be helping people.
wow. And it's amazing how I've met with many nurses. We have many pros who are nurses, and it often starts with that helping people. Where do you think that came from? Was that just part of your upbringing? Like where did that come from?
I think, yeah, it was part of my upbringing. I had family members that got sick when I was young, and
Mm,
I helped with a grandmother, and that just really made me want to get into the field
mm.
and help other people because I knew I could.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. What area of focus were you on nursing? Did you do multiple areas or were you really focused in one area of care?
I did multiple areas. A large part of my career was wound care.
Wound care.
Yes, I was one of those nurses who didn't mind getting into the yucky wounds and healing them.
Wow.
It was so rewarding when I knew I could heal somebody.
Wow. You are my definite first person who's been focusing on the wound care. I was not expecting that. I thought you were going down a totally different area and then like wound care. I'm like, oh my goodness. So
Yeah.
that is it feels like a different level of stress. It feels like do you come home from a busy day at work and say, "Oh, this is what we fixed today?"
Yeah, I did, but nobody wanted to hear it ever. you know?
That's so funny.
I remember my daughter saying, "This is disgusting. I can't believe you do this."
Yeah, at the dinner table, right? And then you're having no problem with it whatsoever.
Yes, I was
Well,
definitely one of those nurses.
thank you for being a nurse and you had an incredible career, but then something happened. Didn't you have some health concern that kind of stopped you from being able to nursing and kind of
Yes.
really transformed made a major change in your entire life? So what happened?
I ended up I had been also working out a lot. I had been a spin instructor on the side, and I ended up with a lot of joint issues. And I found out that I had an autoimmune disease, and it took me down really quickly. And few years after that, I got diagnosed with another. And it just became harder for me to because I was a hospital nurse. I was the nurse that wanted to be in the hospital setting out on the floor, and to physically not be able to do that anymore was devastating.
Wow. And so what happened with that? So now all of a sudden you're I mean mentally, not only physically, mentally. By the way, the spin classes are really hard. I did not know you were a spin coach. Those things are really hard. Now all of a sudden you can't be doing that. So what did you do to try to help get your life back? And is that how you're originally introduced to Alovéa technologies?
It wasn't right away. My health just kept declining. I lived in Massachusetts. My husband retired early so that we could get out of the cold. We moved to Nashville, and I was just getting sicker and sicker. And I, at one point, had a big, I don't know if you've seen the plastic 3 drawer bins that you can buy like at Walmart. I had
Oh yeah,
that,
yeah.
that was full of medication. And for every medication I was taking, there were side effects that brought on more medication. And I wasn't
Oh,
getting better, I was getting sicker. Um, and that's when I was strangely introduced. I wasn't introduced in the normal way probably most people do with Alovéa. Someone didn't call me and say, I have something. I actually ended up being at a church function that I never went to because of my health and because I had dietary issues. And I
mm,
just happened to be there, and I overheard somebody saying that they had just found a product for inflammation to someone else.
mm.
I turned around and just didn't even know these people and butt into their conversation and said,
Are you serious?
"I don't know what you have, but I need to get this." And there were people from my church. I had seen them, but was not friends with them.
Right.
And that's how I was introduced.
Wow. Oh, I did not know that full story. That's so beautiful. And of all things, being in church, if God's going to guide you in the right direction, I mean, that is the place to do it. And so you meet them. I assume you start trying the products. What happened? Especially because I think that's people have heard those stories before, right? Where you're now taking drugs to impact the other drugs that are impacting other drugs. But 3 cartons, like those things are huge. They're
They're
like that's a lot of medication. So what was the first product you start taking from Alovéa and how did it impact you?
I was given a sample of Limitless and Fix, and I went home and took it that night, and I immediately called the person who shared it with me back and said, "I don't know what you just gave me, but I need more of this." I felt less stress, I felt less inflammation. I just felt different. I felt something was happening.
Wow. No, I mean, not. I've heard a lot of people that one product, right? I actually just happen to have this one beside me. This is
Oh,
one of our new products, Edge. I've heard a lot of people who've had those results, but I mean, it's not also everybody that the second they try it, their complete life changes. We know the cleanliness and how good the products are, but some bodies have to go through a while. You had a lot of stuff going on in your body through the different challenges. Why do you think your body responded so quickly? Thinking, you know, from that health background that you understand, why do you think it's like boom, it just impacted you?
I think it changed my mindset. I knew that what the medical world had for me wasn't helping me, and I needed to try something different. And I was willing to try whatever had, I was willing to try it. And yeah, I think it made a huge difference. Within 6 months of starting on the products, I came off almost all of my medication.
Really, 6 months? That's incredible. Wow. Well, and this, I love how you said mindset because this really did change your mindset because you went from probably one of the most challenging and probably rewarding at time professions as being a hospital nurse. And for anybody who has spent time in a hospital, it's so incredibly demanding what nurses go through on a day-to-day basis. Now you have this impact that gets completely transformed by basically food technology, right? But then you decide to go into totally different. You weren't ready to say, okay, I'm ready to keep going now. So what are you doing now? Because it kind of changed your professional path as well, didn't it?
It did. I actually, in 2019, went back to school and became a holistic health coach, um, focusing on working with people with autoimmune issues.
Oh,
Because,
wow.
yeah, I knew how much it impacted me, and I felt I could change so many other people's lives with these products.
Well, good for you. And tell me, what was that experience like going through that program and going back to school and what did you learn the most going through that?
I basically learned so much about food, and food is our medicine. It's what heals us, and just the different ways that you could help people. It
Mm.
helped me
Well,
with learning about meditation and yoga and so many things that just really helped change my whole mindset.
wow. Oh, my wife is going to love listening to this podcast. She's going to love hearing this. So tell me then, say I'm a client. I'm somebody, maybe I've got some gut issues or I found you as a holistic health coach here. And what would you be guiding me on? Like, what is that typical process that somebody would go through to help? And then how do you help guide them on what's right for them?
Well, I first start with their diet. You always have to talk about what someone's consuming because no matter what products you take, they're not going to help you if you're not trying to help yourself with your food. And then I would introduce them to the products and what has helped me. And, I feel like, it's work most of us at that point, because I know for me, it was like, I just, I have nothing to lose by not trying these
Mm,
products and knowing that none of it is toxic, nothing is going to hurt me, where I've had to make those decisions in the past about, medications that were really poison and making those choices.
yeah. So you've had the real experience. I mean, that's quite a fascinating story because you've lived through that, right? And
Mhm.
when you're introducing people to food. So at what stage did you say, I really want to be an Alovéa Pro? So the pros program is, of course, coaches, trainers, athletes, and healthcare professionals that we have a special program that we're partnering with. And you obviously qualify that in two different ways with your health background. But, there's still a difference. You could easily take the products, you could still share them with others, but you wanted to put your name and reputation on being an Alovéa Pro, which you were approved as a pro. So what was the reasoning where you were willing to put your name connected to this company?
I just think this company is amazing. And, it's been this, I'm going into my 11th year with Alovéa. And so I feel like this is one thing that I just can't compromise on,
Hmm.
taking care of myself and putting these products. There's other things that will always, come up that maybe I can't do, but nothing will take me away from putting these nutrients in my body.
Oh,
And I
wow. I
felt
love that.
like
Something to
even,
not compromise from. That was so beautiful how you said that.
I feel like having my name on that is just saying that I believe in this with all my heart.
Well, we appreciate you saying that because it does add credibility. And people are going to hear this podcast and they're going to know someone or they're going to have a family member and saying, oh, wow, we should really look at your diet. We should really, it may guide them down a path that they might be stuck in. The traditional medical system is very important for a lot of things. But a lot
Absolutely.
of times it's not supporting areas that may need or giving people another option to look at. And you are one. And I know the people behind this company. I know the founder of the company. This company is also unique because we're a buy one, give one company, a social business. So every single serving creates a serving for a child in need of that same technology that's had a huge impact for you. And that's, of course, nourishing children. We just surpassed, well, we're about to any day surpass 70 million servings donated. How did it make you feel knowing that you represent a company that is also a social business? Was that meaningful? Was that important to your decision?
It was very meaningful to me. I used to go on mission trips. I've been to Venezuela and other countries with surgical mission trips for cleft lip and cleft palate. So, and we would go and you know do free procedures on children. So taking care of children was very, very important to me. And I've been to Mexico. I have seen the children, and it is just amazing. It is so huge, knowing that you have a purpose, knowing, when I left my career, I felt like I didn't have anything. And knowing that I have a purpose and, it's huge to me.
Oh my goodness. I'm getting goosebumps hearing you talk about that. It's so important and it's so beautiful. And it is pretty remarkable because you're helping people live a healthier life because of what they eat. And to know that if I'm eating this, I keep turning upside down. If I eat this, I'm nourishing myself, but I'm also nourishing a child because just that one product created a donation to a child in need of the same ingredient that's in here. So, of course, knowing what you do and how you help people, we'll have to answer this question to kind of wrap it up. What would be your, like, use the word I will not compromise. So, what are the three products with Alovéa that you're like, these are absolute must. These are three products. I'm putting you on the spot here.
It's funny because I always would. I mean, I have given testimonies before where I've always said immune was always my thing because I feel like it did a lot for me with my autoimmune diseases. I still love it, but the AE is just amazing. I would say AE core, and it's hard because I like them all.
Well, no, you got to come up with one third one. Okay, so
And I
AE,
and
and by the way,
limitless
and
and
limitless.
limitless.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a pretty powerful combination. So you're
but
dealing with
that's
your
it.
gut, you're dealing with your inflammation, and then you're dealing. And by the way, for those that don't know, that AE, it's the same technology that's in the immune, but now it comes in a all powder, right? So you can add it to anything. So that's really powerful. So you were going to say, what were you going to say about Edge?
That is amazing. It's amazing. It
Yeah,
really is.
the electrolytes are fantastic. But there we go. I love that. So core and limitless. You heard it from Robin. Robin, this was such a delight. It was so much fun spending time with you. And thank you for all you've done for so many years in helping people. And of course, for being an Alovéa Pro. So and by the way, how was your first podcast? Was it scary?
It
Was it
was great.
okay?
It was wonderful. You made me feel very comfortable.
And I was hoping the dog was going to jump up and participate, but no dog in this podcast.
No, no dog in this podcast.
Well, it was wonderful spending time with you, and thank you very much. And for everybody else, stay tuned for our next Alovéa Pros, where you get to meet other amazing people and hear them share their story. So thanks, Robin.
Thank you.